Well, hello and welcome to this study club module. I'm Kevin Quishan. The study club module is going to focus on facially generated treatment planning, something that you might already be pretty familiar with, maybe quite familiar with, and maybe not so familiar with, where we talk about EFSB, aesthetics, function, structure, and biology. You know, it's interesting. It seems simple, EFSB, and maybe it is, and that's what I want you to keep in mind this whole time. Maybe it really is simple. You know, I mentioned that EFSB seems so simple. And it really is. It's got this intentional flow even. Not only is it just 4 categories, aesthetics, function, structure, and biology, but we look at it the same every time, right? EFSB, every time in that order. So I want to introduce you to Shannon. Shannon is 39 years old. You can see her photos here. She's a dental assistant. She initially came in due to facial and joint pain that she'd been experiencing for over 10 years. She'd been searching for pain relief. She'd been to pain centers, she'd been to physical therapy, had been taking Flexeril daily for about the past 6 years before she saw me, ibuprofen on a daily basis, Vicodin several times a week when she thought it was needed. And she had been diagnosed at one point with fibromyalgia, which, as you know, is real, but it's also sometimes the rule out. So an interesting history with pain. Previous to that, she had had orthodontic treatment for crowding when she was in middle school and high school. And you look at these photos here, and the orthodontist in the room go, oh yes, evidently crowding because there's 4 premolars missing. I also want you to notice she had orthodontics for crowding back in middle school and high school, yet there's still some spaces in between her front teeth, even with the dentistry she's had, and we're going to go into that in quite detail in a little bit here. The rest of her history is those veneers that you saw were done about 20 years ago for aesthetics, to fill the spaces, better the color, the contour, and give her a bigger smile. And again, you look at some of the photos that we have up right now and you think, bigger smile. Why is it that she wanted veneers for a bigger smile? What was she struggling with? Was it just that she needed bigger teeth in the spaces, or was there something else? And then I also want you to know that the crowns on her back teeth were mostly done one at a time in about the last 5 or 6 years. So veneers done about 20 years ago, crowns on the back teeth done just intermittently about one at a time or so over the last 5 or 6 years. So we look at the last photo that I've given you with a retracted teeth apart view, and then also looking at the occlusal views of the upper and lower arch. I want you to think about something. Do her teeth look like the 39-year-old teeth should? Both front teeth and back teeth. Like, we look at those lower cuspids and you say, wow, those are sort of worn and notched out for 39 years old, but you would say, that's because the porcelain up on top. Okay, they still look pretty worn. And I'm going to challenge you to keep that in the back of your mind as we go through the rest of this module, because maybe if aesthetics and function come first, maybe teeth last a little bit longer, and maybe even though there's porcelain on top, they shouldn't be so worn. And then what you can't notice, but I will tell you, is she has a fixed partial denture, a bridge on the upper left. And you also might notice her flat back teeth. So when you think about 39 years old, it's a shame if you had a bridge at 39. We could maybe do something about that. Why are her back teeth so flat? And why are her lower cuspids so worn? Does she look 39 years old? Probably not with her teeth. And so you can look at the rest of the buccal shots here, and on the open retracted buccal shots, it really gives you a good opportunity to see how flat those molars are, right? There's not a lot of cusp tips on those molars, so you can appreciate that on these photos as well. So we've seen all the photos, at least all the photos that are probably necessary for this module, and I want to take a step back and say, well, what are the patient's desires? Let's review those. Well, remember, she came in because she had some pain, so she would like her pain resolved, some pain resolution. She doesn't like her front or back teeth, but doesn't want anything new because she's not sure how it could look better. There's a reason she did the veneers 20 years ago. She also wants to feel and look better, especially working in the dental field. So she feels like it would be more congruent if she just felt good and looked better because she's in the dental field. She has that bridge that she doesn't like. She'd love an implant, but yet she wants the pain to go away. And so it feels weird to her that she's talking about getting an implant on the top, but she's struggling with so much pain every day. And that's an example of some of the conversations we've had. They sound a lot like this. It's like, I don't like the pain, but I don't like my teeth. I want the pain to go away, but I'm afraid to change my teeth. Well, I really want better looking teeth, but I want to focus on the pain. I don't want to focus on my teeth with all this pain. It feels wrong. but I really want better teeth and I want to floss on the upper left again. And so you can see the conflict in there with these conversations that we have. So her desires are multiple and very conflicted. So what are the challenges? What were the challenges for me? Challenges start with that lack of clarity on what she wants. Neither of us know. I don't think she obviously doesn't, so I don't either. She has a history of methamphetamine use. She's been sober for about 5 years at this point. She reports a high threshold for pain, and I tell you that because she also uses medication on a daily basis to control the pain. So I'm wondering, wow, if she's in this much pain, how bad is the pain? Because she says she has a high threshold for pain. Or am I worried about a different addiction for her? I can't help but to wonder that. My other challenge is because of her history and sort of what I've seen, does she have an appreciation for health or an understanding of dental health, even though she works in the dental field? The dental challenges are the spaces between the veneered front teeth with the history of ortho, right, for the crowding. So I worry about that. That's a challenge. And then also the restoration. She has restorations, class 3 composites on the lingual of the veneers that happened after the veneers were placed 20 years ago because she didn't want the dentist to touch the veneers. She doesn't like the way they look, but she didn't want a dentist to touch them. And I'm thinking, oh my gosh. So she doesn't like it. She wants something different, but she wouldn't let the dentist touch it. I'm a little worried about that. That's a challenge for me for sure. And then she's got these newer posterior crowns, all done in the past 5 or so years, but they're flat and ugly. And so these are the challenges that I had right off the bat that sort of set me back and said, wow, how am I going to deal with all of this?